up guys, welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. Today is going to be a chest workout, and the chest can never be big enough in a classic physique class, in my opinion. It's going to be the chest, the side delts and the triceps. We're going to get started on the slight incline Smith machine bench press, because we don't want to involve the front delts, mostly the chest, and we don't want to irritate the front delt, so that's why the incline is very slight, and the Smith machine is there to really balance the weight and limit the use or the need for a spotter. Let's warm up first. Alrighty guys, if you want a bigger, better chest, what you have to do is find the ideal angle during which you can actually feel the chest the most and the shoulders the least. So I used to train the incline bench press on a free weight bench at a 45-degree angle, and it did develop some quite nice gains, but not just in the chest, but also in the front delts. And that is one of the reasons why I never have to train the front delts again, because they already are so developed compared, you know, to my rear delts, for example, that I don't have to do any isolation work for the front delts at all. Whenever you train the chest, you always train the front delts anyway, so you want to minimize this effect as much as possible. And by lowering the incline positioning of the bench, you can actually by changing that angle, you can actually shift the tension from your front delts to the chest, which in turn will develop the chest much more. You don't want to spread the weight out across many muscles. You want to put it all on the muscle you're working on, and in this case it's the chest. And since it's a compound movement, you will always target the triceps as well, because both the elbow joint and the shoulder joint are working to push this weight up, but you want to maximize the effect on the chest. So just find the correct angle for you, and for me this is the perfect angle. It really feels nice, no shoulder pain or impingement or anything like that. Again, as I always say in all videos, the working sets are sets that go to failure, and those are the sets that make you grow. Next movement, right after the slight incline Smith machine bench press, is another chest press, but this time these handles actually converge together, which allows your chest to contract stronger. So what you really want to do is retract the shoulder blades, make sure to really contract the shoulders, but don't overextend, because then the front delts will be involved. Let's do this. So here we are doing the chest press, and every single gym has a different chest press obviously, but if you already are doing a bench press or an incline bench press or any barbell press for that matter, the next pressing movement you might want to choose a chest press that has handles that are converging together as you press forward, because this mimics the natural motion of the chest. So naturally the squeeze, the contraction of the chest is stronger, which allows you to develop the chest further than if you would only stick to barbell work, which is why I always like to combine exercises like this. So at least one barbell movement, at least one chest press movement, a dumbbell movement, and maybe a cable movement, for example. Those are great combinations to make in order to fully develop the chest. So a lot of gyms have several different chest presses. Find the one you can use full range of motion with. Usually it's a hammer strength chest press. ATX is a chest press as well, and this chest press is by Panetta. It really doesn't matter as much, just go for high quality and make sure that the handles widen as you stretch and converge as you contract. And by the way, this chest press is quite easy to do, which is why I'm able to use, north of 100 kilos per side, but that really depends on the brand. Next exercise, a true old school movement, the flat dumbbell press. I'm slowly getting stronger on these. We're going for, in the end, eventually the 70 kilo dumbbells again. But for now, we're going to do this warm up first and then slowly work our way up to heavier and heavier weights and see where we end up. Let's do this. Okay, so the next one is going to be the flat dumbbell press. As I mentioned before, I want to do, every single exercise needs to hit the chest differently enough compared to the previous movement or compared to any other of the movements during the workout. It would be a waste to, for example, do the regular bench press and then a strength machine bench press both flat, because you would hit the chest the same way, and waste an opportunity to hit the chest fibers in a different way. In my opinion, bodybuilding is all about hitting the muscles from as many different angles as possible with the maximum range of motion and the maximum amount of weight you can use with correct form. If you abide to all of those rules, your muscles will grow. So every single movement that I do has 2 working sets as of right now, may even be increasing later down the line when my true off-season begins. Right now I'm still recovering from the Olympia, so getting my health markers in check, but once everything is settled down for sure, then the true growth will occur. But for now, 2 working sets is a really nice amount to maintain a balance between recovery and fatigue. So the first working set is usually the heaviest working set. So I did 60 kilos for a number of reps, so I believe 9 or 10 reps. And then you want to choose a lighter weight with which you can hit more reps, so you can always target the muscle in different rep ranges and have different targets to beat those rep ranges as well. Alrighty guys, the final chest movement, an isolation movement. We did 3 presses. No need to do more presses, guys, even if your chest is a weak point. Just focus on 2 or 3 good presses, then finish it with an isolation movement to ensure the optimal fatigue, the maximum fatigue in the muscle itself. This is going to be the cable flies, but this time an incline version, so supported on a bench, so we can still get the full contraction at the top, which you don't get with a dumbbell, for example. So let's do this. The last chest-focused movement is the cable flies, but since I'm having 3 chest rotations, I have 3 different flies I like to do, and there are more variations for you guys who have more equipment in the gym, for example, but this is the incline cable fly. I also do the standing cable fly and the dumbbell fly, the flat dumbbell fly. So those are 3 variations, and all 3 feel very different. The big benefit of this incline cable fly is, first of all, you cannot really use a whole lot of weight because the tension from the bottom to the top is maximized, which makes this quite a difficult movement to complete. It feels more difficult than a standing cable fly, because with a standing cable fly you inevitably use a little bit of momentum during the stretch to to move the weight more easily. But this, you're laying down, and when you're laying down like this, you can't do anything with your body to make it easier, especially when you're a serious bodybuilder or athlete. You don't want to put any momentum in there, because if you do, then it will be a waste of reps and, risk of injury. That's not what we want. So here you can see how the constant tension affects the muscle. You can see that the striations in the muscle, they stay. All the way from the stretch to the contraction, they don't disappear, which shows you the constant tension effect, which is a very big benefit for muscle growth during this movement. Alrighty guys, we just did the chest. In between the chest and the triceps, we're going to work on the side delts. Just one very simple movement. But instead of 1 working set, we're now doing 2 working sets with a slightly heavier weight. So this is what is called progressive overload. So first I did 1 working set of 10 kilos. Now we're moving to 2 working sets with 12.5 kilos. So that's more weight, more volume for more growth. And the muscle will then be filled with blood. Let's do this. This might become a little bit of repetitiveness, but sometimes bodybuilding can be quite boring if you truly want to go for the maximum results. For me, I figured out that the side dumbbell lateral raises work the best to grow the side delts, as my entire delt size is built by side lateral raises like this and reverse dumbbell flies or face pulls for the rear delts. As I told you, the front delts already have their size from the chest workouts, but doing 2 working sets of using these dumbbells, that is all I need for those side delts maximum development. Next up is the triceps. I always like to do the triceps after the chest. You already warmed them up, so why not finish them off? But I still want to do one isolation movement that is not so heavy on the joints, namely the row pushdown, to really, because it feels really good, get a really good squeeze here, and it warms you up entirely for the next one, which is a bit heavier. So let's get going. So this movement is for the triceps, obviously, and I also started wearing these elbow sleeves. They have 2 reasons and 2 effects for me personally. So they are not very tight at all, but they are tight enough to protect the elbow joint and the tendon from being, irritated, from being inflamed by the movement, basically keeping the elbow warm, allowing for a better warm up in the elbow and making sure that it doesn't hurt in a bad way. And because I've had elbow pain before, this is a great way to prevent it, along with using the row pushdown as a warm up. Next one for the triceps is again using the rope. Almost the same movement, but this time it's going to be overhead, which means the tension is shifted from the small head more to the long head of the tricep, which means through a frontal bicep, the bottom of the tricep, the hang, that's what you will increase with this movement, and that can never be big enough. Let's do this. So this movement is the last tricep one, the overhead tricep extension. We unfortunately couldn't record the other working sets, but I simply did 2 working sets here of around 10 to 12 and 15 to 20 reps. Alright guys, that was the chest, side delt and tricep workout of the day, and trust me, you will see a lot more kinds of videos on this channel very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the golden support, especially for people also browsing the website vintagegenetics.com to check out the clothing I'm wearing, for example, and a lot more classic bodybuilding items. Once again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.
Yes.